Let the sound of the wind fill your ears. Let the worries of the land fall behind and come aboard a quiet vessel. Adrift on the open sea sometime in the 16th century, you are not a captain, not a cartographer, just a sailor with calloused hands and an easy rhythm to your step, a soul rocked to sleep by the breath of the waves. The sun has dipped low behind the horizon, its final rays setting the clouds ablaze in shades of rose, amber, and fading indigo. You've just finished your evening duties, coiling ropes, checking knots, helping the cook stow away dried fish and hardened bread. Now, the deck is mostly empty. Most of the crew sleeps below, lulled by the slow creak of the timbers and the gentle roll of the hull. You walk slowly, barefoot across the deck. It's still warm from the day's sun, smooth, worn wood beneath your soles. You weren't born to the sea. Your hands once knew ink, not rope. In Lisbon, you were a scribe's apprentice, copying contracts, drawing maps, squinting by lamplight until your fingers cramped. You smelled of wax and dust, not salt and wood. But every time you drew the outline of a distant coast, something stirred in you. A longing, a restlessness you couldn't name. And so, one night, when the harbour lights flickered like stars, you walked away from the page and toward the water. You lied to board this ship, said you'd sailed before. You hadn't. But the sea forgives fools faster than it does cowards. And now your hands know the pull of rope and sail. Your heart beats in rhythm with the tide. And your world is wider than any map ever dared to dream. The sun has just dipped beneath the western edge of the world. Its final breath sets the clouds aflame in crimson and gold, as if the sky were blessing the sea goodnight. The sails are slack, the wind is gentle, a soft exhale across the deck. You feel the ship's slow sway beneath your feet, each creak of timber like a lullaby whispered through rope and canvas. Most of the crew sleeps below, rocked by motion, wrapped in wool and dreams of distant lands. But you linger on the upper deck, watching the stars awaken one by one. Above you, the sky is endless, clear, vast, a celestial map, ancient and familiar. You trace constellations with your eyes, Orion, bold and silent. The Great Bear spinning slowly, patiently. The North Star, ever fixed, your guiding promise in a world without borders. You remember how the navigator once said, "There is no night for those who know how to look up." And so you do. Because here on the sea, the stars are your church, your calendar, your compass, and your only constant. The ship itself has settled into slumber. A faint clink of rope, a soft thud of waves against the hull. The low hum of timbers shifting, stretching like an old man in bed. Near the mast, the cabin boy lies curled beside a coil of rope, his arms wrapped around a stuffed toy shaped like a whale. Someone left a blanket over him. Maybe the cook, maybe you. Kindness doesn't need names at sea. There's a barrel of fresh water just beside the galley. You splash your face. The droplets cool against skin still warm from the day's sun. You chew a strip of salted cod, dry and tough, but familiar. Food is less about pleasure now, more about peace. The peace of not being hungry, of knowing you'll wake tomorrow. You walk slowly, barefoot across the damp wood, each step measured, each breath long. The sails above you ripple gently, catching the wind like a sigh. You pass the helmsman, half asleep with his hands still resting on the wheel. He gives you a sleepy nod. No need for words. You share the same sky, the same silence. There's a cat that's made this ship its home. A black and white ghost that disappears by day and returns at night. It slinks past you now, tail flicking, eyes glowing like twin moons. You smile. Even she knows how to move with the tide. She isn't large. Not like the galleons meant for war, nor the mighty East Indiaman packed with treasure and spice. No, this ship is something quieter, more personal. A caravel, perhaps. Slim, swift and sure-footed on the waves. Built for exploration, not battle. Her hull is dark oak, weathered by sun and salt, smoothed by wind and time into something almost graceful. She creaks as she breathes, as if each board holds a memory. Of storms endured, ports departed, and lands first seen through morning mist. 2 masts rise like bare trees, rigged with canvas sails now softened from years of use. At rest, they sway gently in the breeze, casting long shadows over the deck as the moon begins its climb. The deck is narrow but familiar, a path worn by many feet. Coils of rope rest like sleeping serpents near the forecastle. Crates are lashed tight with tarred cord, smelling of spices, wool, and distant places you haven't yet learned to name. The ship's lanterns hang from low hooks, their light flickering gold through horn panes. Never harsh, only warm. Below deck, a dim world of hammocks, cargo, and low murmurs. Barrels slosh quietly with water and wine. The ship's cat naps beside a sack of dried figs. The helm stands proud at the stern, its wooden wheel polished by generations of hands. Behind it, the sea stretches endlessly. A mirror for the stars, a road with no markings but wind and instinct. She is not a grand ship, but she is faithful, and like all the best ships, she feels alive. She doesn't speak, but she listens. And tonight she carries you safely, across a sea older than stories. Then the wind stills, a silence deeper than silence. You look up dash. The stars are fading, not fast, but gently, as if the night sky is being slowly covered by a great grey veil. A storm is coming, but not a rage, not a scream. Something softer. The air thickens, damp and cool. Clouds roll in like ships of smoke. And then, rain, tiny polite drops, like fingertips tapping lightly on canvas and skin. No thunder, no flash. Just the hush of water, so soft it becomes part of your breath. The storm is kind tonight. It comes like a visitor, cleans the air and drifts away. And slowly, the stars return, one by one. You sit beneath the aft sail now, legs stretched, eyes half-lidded. You think of home. Not with sadness, but with the quiet gratitude of someone who left, and understands why. You remember the smell of your mother's kitchen, bread baking in the morning, the way sunlight fell across the floorboards, the cat that never liked you but always sat by your feet. You remember the streets of Lisbon, cobbled and crooked, filled with voices and salt and distant bells. You remember who you were, and marvel at who you are now. Not better, just broader, like the sea itself. You close your eyes, and in your mind, you see a shore you've never seen. Palm trees sway in rhythm with the tide. Strange birds sing names you've never heard. The sand is white as flour. The water, clear as glass, warm as breath. You step onto the beach. The air smells like mango and firewood. A child offers you a carved wooden trinket, a gift, no words needed. It's a dream. But who's to say it isn't waiting? The wind picks up again, steady and kind. The sails tighten. The ship hums with quiet motion. The sea is dark, but you no longer fear it. It holds you, guides you, welcomes you, not as a conqueror, but as a student. You lean back, arms folded, the stars winking overhead like old friends. You've come far. And yet, the journey has only just begun. Sleep now. Let the sea rock you like a cradle. Let the stars watch over your dreams. Let the wood and wind hold your body still. Tomorrow brings more rope, more salt, more sun. But tonight, there is only this dash, this moment of breath, this ship beneath stars, and the quiet joy of being alive between sky and sea. Good night, sailor. Good night. Close your eyes. Let the noise of today melt away and drift slowly through time to a place where sandals tap on sun-warmed stones, where marble columns catch the golden light of dawn, where philosophy flows as gently as the breeze between olive leaves. You are in ancient Athens, the cradle of reason, democracy and beauty. It is morning, and the city has just begun to stir. The air is cool and sweet as you step from the shaded portico of your small home. The sun peaks above Mount Hymettus, casting long, sleepy shadows across the hills. Above you, the Acropolis stands like a crown, the Parthenon bathed in golden light, its columns rising proud and calm, as if watching over the city like a patient mother. Below, the city stretches wide, a patchwork of red roofs, narrow alleys, fig trees, and dusty courtyards. And somewhere beyond, the Aegean glimmers like polished silver. Your sandals crunch on the pebble path as you make your way to the Agora, Athens' bustling marketplace and civic centre. The walk is quiet. A few early risers greet you with a nod or a simple "Haire." Good morning. As you enter the square, the sound grows, softly, like ripples in a fountain. Merchants call out gently, not yelling, but with familiar rhythm. Fresh olives, figs from Phaleron, fine pottery from Corinth. Men gather under the Stoa Poikile, the shaded colonnade, where stories of gods and heroes are painted on the walls. Philosophers lean on columns, deep in thought, or pretending to be. You pause at a stall and buy a small round of barley bread, still warm, and a little dish of thick honey. A kind older woman wraps it for you in fig leaves, smiling with few words. She's been here every day for 20 years, just like her mother. A jug of goat's milk from a man with eyes like stone. A handful of sweet grapes in a woven basket. Your breakfast is simple and perfect. You find a shaded stone bench beneath a broad olive tree and sit, slowly breaking your bread, watching the morning unfold. No rush. There's time. There's always time in Athens. Ah, Athens, a city where every third person is a philosopher, the fourth is sculpting a philosopher, and the fifth is selling olives to the sculptor while quoting Homer for fun. It's a place where sandals slap softly on marble streets, where arguments about virtue and truth break out as casually as small talk, and where even the beggars have opinions on democracy. Here, the air smells faintly of figs, roasted garlic, and ideas, and every corner offers a view of something either sacred, crumbling, or both. The city doesn't just hum. It debates, lectures, and occasionally sings off-key in taverns. The locals greet each other with a nod, a knowing smile, and sometimes a 5-minute rant about the nature of justice. And yet, for all its marble and myth, for all its proud temples and prickly minds, Athens is a city that feels like home. Not because it's perfect, but because it's thoughtful, alive, and just a little bit eccentric. A small group gathers nearby beneath another tree. You recognize the speaker, a thin, barefoot man with a crooked smile and hands that move like birds as he talks. It's Socrates. He's debating a young student, gently but persistently questioning him. What is justice? Is it merely what is lawful, or what is right? Barefoot, wrinkled, and utterly unbothered by either of those facts, he's surrounded by a small crowd, students, merchants, the occasional fishmonger, all drawn in by his voice, measured, curious, relentless. He's not lecturing, not exactly. He's asking questions, always questions. What is courage? He muses, as if it might be tucked behind someone's sandal or hidden in a clay pot. You smile quietly. You've seen this before. A young man thinks he knows the answer. He always does. And 10 minutes later, he's staring at his own toes, unsure if he even exists. Socrates doesn't offer conclusions. He offers confusion with charm. But somehow people leave wiser, or at least more thoughtful, than when they arrived. He's a teacher with no scrolls, a sage with no robe, a man who claims to know nothing, and yet makes everyone else realize they might know even less. You don't interrupt. You never do. It's more than enough to listen, as his questions ripple out beneath the olive trees, gently shaking the dust off certainty. You don't need to join the conversation. It's enough to listen. The words wash over you like waves. You understand some, miss others, but the rhythm is soothing, like a lullaby for the soul. And all around the olive trees whisper. You pass small workshops tucked between whitewashed homes, a bronze smith, his hands blackened with soot, carefully polishing a helmet, a sculptor, tapping gently at marble, revealing the soft folds of a goddess's robe beneath the stone. The air is warm, filled with the scent of rosemary and clay, mingling with the laughter of children chasing a ball made from tightly bound fabric. A small dog follows them, tail wagging, kicking up little clouds of dust with each bound. You follow the road as it dips toward the Kerameikos, the potter's quarter. Rows of painted vases line the shop fronts, depicting warriors, feasts, and winged gods. The owners smile and wave. They recognize you. There's comfort in being known, in walking familiar streets. You stop for a moment beside a public fountain. The water trickles endlessly from a carved lion's mouth, cold and clear. A young girl helps her grandmother fill a clay jug, giggling as she splashes a little on her sandals. The woman gently hushes her, but there's warmth in her voice. Not far beyond, beneath the shade of a plane tree, another gathering forms. Students and elders seated in a circle. This is the Lyceum, the shaded grounds where Aristotle and his followers teach. Today, a quiet lesson on the order of the cosmos is underway. The stars, they say, are perfect spheres. The earth, a harmony of elements. The tone is calm, the words carefully chosen. No shouting, just thinking. You sit on the grass for a while. A breeze rustles through the tall reeds by the nearby stream. A cricket chirps softly. You're not sure if you're learning or simply listening, but your mind feels clear, open. Light. The sun begins its descent as you climb the gentle slope of the Hill of the Muses. Few come here during the day. It's quiet. The path is dappled in shade. At the top, the whole of Athens lies before you, the Agora, now calmer in the afternoon. The Acropolis, still gleaming like a beacon. The distant ships in the harbour of Piraeus, their sails slack in the still air. Beyond them, the sea, the colour of polished obsidian beneath the setting sun. You sit, legs folded, heart calm. The streets now glow orange and rose under the low sun. The walls of homes reflect the fading light like old parchment. In a narrow alley, you pass a musician playing aulos, the twin-piped flute. The melody is ancient, a lullaby sung by shepherds beneath the stars. You pause at a courtyard tavern. Soft laughter drifts out as patrons sip wine and share stories. A dog snoozes by the entrance, barely raising an ear. You don't go in. Not tonight. You walk on, slowly, past the vines climbing stone walls, past fig trees heavy with fruit, until you reach your door. You step into your home. A simple stone house. Its cool interior, a welcome contrast to the fading warmth outside. The door opens into a small courtyard, open to the sky where vines twist up the whitewashed walls, and a clay basin holds rainwater from last week's storm. A single fig tree stretches toward the fading sun above, its leaves gently rustling like whispered farewells to the day. From the courtyard, archways lead into small clean rooms. Walls painted with earthy tones, ochre, terracotta, soft blue. The floor is packed earth or smooth stone, swept clean, with woven mats placed neatly near the walls. In one room sits the andron, the men's dining space. A low wooden table surrounded by reclining cushions, where evening meals are taken slowly, by lamplight, in conversation or gentle silence. A small oil lamp flickers on a shelf. The flame dances lazily, casting golden shadows on the wall. Near the sleeping quarters, a loom stands in the corner, half-finished cloth draped across it. A single earthen jug of olive oil rests beside a folded linen tunic. The air carries a hint of lavender, perhaps tucked in satchels among the bedding to soften the scent of sleep. The bedroom is simple. A wooden frame with ropes supporting a mattress of straw and wool, covered in woven cloth, soft from many washings. Above your bed, a small clay amulet dangles from a nail, a charm for protection, shaped like an owl or a laurel leaf. It sways gently, barely moving, as if nodding good night. You lie back. Outside you hear the soft murmur of neighbours talking in their courtyards, the distant flute of a street musician finishing his evening tune, and the calm, ever-present chirp of cicadas Your eyelids grow heavy, and the warmth of the day fades into memory. Before the rush of modern life, before engines roared and cities blazed with electric light, there was Constantinople, the beating heart of the Ottoman Empire, where east meets west, and every breath of morning air carries the scent of history itself. It is dawn. The marble domes of great mosques gleam softly under a sky painted in pale gold. The Bosphorus shimmers like liquid silver as the first fishermen push out their narrow boats, their oars dipping quietly into the still waters. In the winding alleys below, merchants stir in their shops, lanterns flickering to life one by one as the city slowly awakens. And you are part of this world, a simple merchant's apprentice, rising early to prepare for the day ahead. The air is cool against your skin as you step outside, your feet brushing against the worn cobblestones that have felt the footsteps of emperors and travelers alike. You breathe in deeply. The aroma of fresh bread from a nearby bakery mingles with the faint trace of burning incense carried on the breeze from a distant mosque. Today you will walk the great bazaars, hear the hum of trade spoken in a dozen tongues, and feel the life of a city where every stone holds a story. But for now, take a moment. Stand still. Listen to the quiet grace of a world on the edge of waking. This is Constantinople, and your day is about to begin. You sit cross-legged on a low wooden platform, the morning light filtering through a latticed window. Before you lies a modest spread. There is freshly baked pied, a soft oval flatbread still warm from the communal stone oven. Its surface is golden, dimpled from the baker's fingertips, and fragrant with a dusting of nigella seeds. Beside it rests a small clay bowl of white sheep's cheese, brined and crumbly, sharp enough to wake your senses with its first bite. A handful of green olives, glistening in the morning light, adds their smooth, salty tang, and tucked neatly beside the bread, a few slices of cucumber and ripe tomatoes, their flesh still cool from the night's air. If fortune has smiled upon you, there's a small dish of pekmez, a thick, dark grape molasses. You smear a bit onto the bread, the sweetness balanced by the tartness of the fruit, a humble delight that lingers gently on the tongue. And to drink? A warm cup of steaming herbal infusion, brewed from wild sage or dried mint, soothing and calming to the stomach. The great kahve houses, with their rich, dark coffee, will open later. But this early hour is for quiet simplicity. You eat slowly, each bite a familiar comfort against the coolness of the stone floor beneath you. Outside, the city stirs. And now, the streets call. You step out into the winding alleys of Constantinople's Fatih district, the very heart of the empire. The cool air carries the mingled scents of fresh bread, sea salt drifting from the nearby Golden Horn, and the faintest hint of jasmine blooming in hidden courtyards. The cobblestones beneath your feet are smooth from centuries of footsteps. Merchants pull open their wooden shutters, the creak of old iron hinges echoing through narrow lanes. Fabric stalls spill their colours onto the streets, rich velvets from Bursa, soft silks from Persia, coarse linens from the empire's farthest edges. Above you, grand stone arches frame your path, their surfaces worn smooth but still standing strong. Ivy creeps along their sides, and the golden morning sun turns the great domes of the Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque into glowing monuments against the pale sky. The streets pulse with life now. You pass by a baker stacking fresh loaves of simit, the golden, ring-shaped bread encrusted with sesame seeds. He smiles faintly, offering a nod as the scent tempts you once more. Children chase one another through the narrow lanes, their laughter echoing off the stone walls. Elderly men sit on low stools, their worry beads clinking softly in their hands as they discuss matters far larger than themselves. Trade, politics, and distant wars in lands most will never see. And all around you, the sounds of the great city rise, 1,000 conversations in Turkish, Greek, Armenian, and Arabic, a place where cultures collide and histories intertwine beneath the shadow of towering minarets and ancient city walls. You pause for a moment at a high stone terrace overlooking the shimmering waters of the Bosphorus, that great silver thread connecting the continents. Boats glide across its surface like small birds, their sails catching the light breeze as fishermen cast their nets and traders prepare their goods for the busy day ahead. In this moment, with the golden sun warming your face and the vast city stretching out before you, you feel it. This is not just a city. It is the very center of a world, alive and breathing beneath your feet. You carry onward, following the current of life that flows through the winding alleys toward the pulsing heart of the city, the great Kapalı Çarşı, the grand bazaar, a world unto itself, hidden beneath vaulted stone and timber, where the empire's wealth gathers like a river meeting the sea. You step beneath its ancient archways and at once the air changes. It is warmer here, alive with the rich scent of exotic spices, sumac, cinnamon, cardamom, and clove, blending into a fragrance so familiar, it seems to cling to the very stones. Lamps hang low from thick wooden beams, their golden light casting soft halos above crowded stalls. The air hums with life. Merchants call out in practiced tones, their voices melodic and welcoming, trained to draw you closer with promises of rare goods and fair bargains. Their hands sweep over treasures, silks dyed deep crimson and royal blue, hammered copper trays etched with swirling calligraphy, delicate glass lamps glowing with fractured light, and rows of intricate ceramic tiles, each one a fragment of artistry frozen in time. You pass a perfumer's stall, and the scent envelops you, rosewater, sandalwood, musk, and ambergris. Tiny glass bottles filled with liquids more valuable than gold glimmer in the soft light. Next to it, a jeweler works carefully over a delicate filigree bracelet, his hand steady despite years of toil. You pause by a tea vendor who grins warmly and offers you a small clay cup of steaming apple tea, sweet and fragrant. Its warmth flows through your fingers as you sip, watching the crowd move like a great river through the maze of corridors. Traders from every corner of the empire pass by, men in embroidered turbans, veiled women moving gracefully between stalls, young apprentices hauling sacks of spices or fine fabrics on their shoulders. And above it all, the high arched ceilings rise like the inside of a great cathedral, their faded frescoes still whispering stories from centuries long past. The echo of footsteps and voices rolls through the cavernous halls, a symphony of commerce and culture. You move onward through the jeweller's alley, the glint of silver and gold catching your eye, then through the spice market, where mounds of vibrant saffron, turmeric, and paprika sit in neat pyramids, their colours glowing like captured sunlight. Every sense is alive. Your eyes dazzled by colour, your ears filled with the cadence of unfamiliar languages and familiar haggling, your nose drawn toward every fragrant corner. And yet, even amidst this vibrant chaos, there is peace, a harmony woven through the diversity. It is a living tapestry, this bazaar, a place where the wealth of empires and the hopes of humble traders meet beneath a roof older than memory. As the morning sun climbs higher, Its rays slip through high, narrow windows, casting beams of light that fall like blessings upon the heads of those below. You take a slow breath, absorbing it all, the scent, the sounds, the warmth of the tea still lingering on your tongue. And here, in this grand living heart of the empire, you think, the day is just beginning. The morning's business fades into the hush of midday. The sun now sits high above, casting its golden light over domes and courtyards, making the marble glow as if lit from within. The streets slow, and the city takes a breath, as if pausing between the weight of its glorious past and the quiet promise of its unfolding day. You find yourself drawn toward one of the great wonders of the city, the magnificent Hagia Sophia. Its colossal dome rises gracefully into the heavens, a marvel of architecture that has stood for nearly 1,000 years. The stone beneath your feet feels cooler here, shaded by the towering structure that has witnessed emperors rise and fall, and yet remains eternal. You slip off your sandals at the threshold and step into the grand interior. The air is cool and heavy with history. Light filters through high windows in thin golden beams, dust motes drifting lazily in their path. The faint scent of aged incense clings to the ancient stones, and your footsteps echo softly across the vast, polished marble floor. Here, time seems to move differently. You sit quietly near one of the great columns, the stone cool beneath your hands. Around you, men and women sit in hushed contemplation, their prayers rising in the stillness like the softest breath. Outside, the voice of the muezzin calls once again, his voice pure and steady, carried on the warm midday breeze. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. The sound rolls gently through the open courtyards and over the tiled rooftops, blending perfectly with the peaceful rhythm of the day. The walk is slow and unhurried, the city's pace softened under the warmth of the midday sun. The wide promenade along the Golden Horn opens before you, its stone path bathed in sunlight. Traders rest beneath shaded awnings. Fishermen lounge by their boats, their nets spread out like great wings drying in the sun. The breeze that rises off the water carries with it the salty fragrance of the sea, mingled with the faint scent of grilled fish from a small riverside vendor. You pause at a shaded bench beneath a flowering almond tree, its pale blossoms trembling gently in the breeze. Nearby, a young boy plays a soft tune on a wooden knee flute, the delicate melody rising and falling like the waves themselves. Before you, the waters of the Bosphorus glimmer like a sheet of liquid glass, broken only by the slow passage of fishing boats and the distant silhouette of a merchant galley making its way toward the Black Sea. For a long while, you sit in silence, watching the rhythm of the water, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face and the cool breath of the Bosphorus at your back. This is a peace few know, a moment between the demands of the day and the coming labours of the afternoon. And so, you think quietly, even in the grandest of cities, it is the simplest moments that hold the deepest meaning. The hours of stillness pass, and as the sun tilts westward, life stirs again in the great city. The golden warmth of afternoon breathes new energy into the streets, and Constantinople begins to hum once more with the rhythm of its people. You rise from your quiet seat by the Bosphorus and make your way back toward the heart of the city. The streets that rested in the midday heat are now alive with movement. Artisans return to their workshops, small spaces tucked behind carved wooden doors and stone archways. You pass a coppersmith's forge, the air rich with the scent of heated metal. Sparks leap from the anvil as the master and his apprentice work in practiced silence. shaping intricate trays and coffee pots destined for homes and palaces alike. Nearby, the rhythmic tap of a weaver's loom drifts through an open window, its wooden frame creaking gently with each practiced movement. Inside, colourful threads stretch across the loom like rivers of crimson and gold. Fine fabrics take shape under skilled hands, destined for the grand markets of the city or the lavish halls of distant governors. You wander onward, drawn by the growing murmur of voices and the faint, irresistible aroma of freshly brewed coffee. And there it is, the Kavahane, the coffee house. Modest yet inviting, with low wooden tables arranged beneath the shade of a flowering vine. The air is rich with the scent of roasted coffee beans and the sweet fragrance of rosewater-scented tobacco, curling softly from the long, slender stems of water pipes. You take a seat, and before you is placed a small, elegant porcelain cup, its rim delicate and warm to the touch. Inside, a thick, dark brew swirls gently. This is no hurried drink, this is a ritual. You sip slowly, the bitter richness of the coffee softened by the cool, sweet sip of a glass of water placed thoughtfully beside it. Around you, voices rise in thoughtful debate and soft laughter. Merchants discuss the changing prices of silk and spices. Poets recite verses about lost loves and distant lands. An elder tells a tale of the empire's founding days, his words flowing as smoothly as the smoke drifting through the air. For a while, time seems to pause again. The worries of the day drift away with each sip, and the conversation becomes as much a part of the afternoon as the golden light slanting through the latticed windows. Outside, the streets are bathed in a soft amber glow. Children chase hoops along the alleyways, and the final transactions of the day take place beneath the colourful canopies of the bazaar. In the distance, the muezzin's voice rises once more, his call to the Asr prayer rolling gently over the rooftops. And as you sit back, your cup warm in your hands and the city alive before your eyes, you realise that this quiet harmony of labour, tradition, and simple joy is what makes Constantinople the true jewel of the world. The sun lowers itself behind the horizon, bathing the great domes and minarets in a final golden embrace before slipping quietly into night. The sky blushes in hues of rose and deep violet, and the city, for a brief moment, holds its breath in the beauty of twilight. You rise from your seat at the coffee house, stepping back into the streets that glow now with the soft flicker of oil lamps and gently swinging lanterns. Their warm light dances across the whitewashed walls and cobbled pathways, turning the city into a mosaic of soft shadows and golden halos. The air is cooler now, carrying the faint scent of baked chestnuts roasting over small fires and the subtle sweetness of burning amber incense rising from open windows. Merchants begin to close their stalls, drawing thick curtains over the day's labours. Yet even as the shops grow quiet, the streets take on a new kind of life, one of reflection and peace. You make your way toward the mosque once more. The air hums with the calm reverence of the Maghrib prayer. Lamps sway gently in the courtyard as soft voices rise and fall in unison, their words carried upward into the night sky. Standing there, you watch the silhouettes of worshippers bowing in perfect harmony beneath the open heavens, the grand arches of the mosque framing them like a painting brought to life. The great dome above seems to hold the sky itself in place, and for a moment, everything feels still, timeless. You take one final walk through the dimly lit streets. The shops are shuttered, their doors closed tight against the night breeze. But from behind those walls, you hear the gentle murmur of families sharing their last meals of the day, soft laughter, the lullabies of mothers soothing their children to sleep. Above, The stars reveal themselves one by one, scattered across the deep indigo sky. They shine bright and unchallenged, their light reflecting faintly off the calm waters of the Bosphorus, where the last of the fishing boats drift slowly toward home. You find your way back to your modest dwelling, the air inside cool and quiet. You lay upon your simple bedding, the weight of the day slowly melting from your shoulders. Through the small open window, the night air drifts in, cool, clean, carrying with it the distant scent of the sea and the comforting warmth of smouldering hearths. And as your eyes grow heavy, you listen to the soft breath of the sleeping city, to the ancient rhythms that have carried it through centuries. And you know, as the lantern lights flicker their last and the stars keep silent watch above, that you have lived another day in the heart of the world. Thank you for walking these ancient streets with me and experiencing a day in the life of old Constantinople. If this journey brought you calm, wonder, or simply helped you drift a little closer to sleep, I invite you to leave a like and subscribe for more peaceful travels through time. Until we meet again, may your nights be restful and your dreams forever wander among the echoes of history.